Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Nick Atkin on South China Morning Post, SCMP MMA. Normally in Hong Kong, I'm still in London, but I have got one of my favorite guys to chat to. It's been a while since we've had him on. It is, of course, the main man, the boss, Chatri Sityodtong, One Championship, CEO and Chairman. Chatri, how are you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, Nick?
Yeah, not too bad. Still stuck on this side of the world, so it makes things a little difficult. And I thank you. I think it's about 10 p.m. for you over there in Singapore, so I appreciate you staying up late to chat.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me.
Always. Yeah, as I said, it's been a while and plenty of news to talk about, things I wanted to get into. There's a huge card on Friday, obviously. Bad blood, Bibiano, Fernandes, John Lineker, bantamweight title fight, interim heavyweight title fight as well. But also some other big news I wanted to get into. First, I know that something you're pretty happy about. I've seen you posting on your social media. The Apprentice debuted on Netflix last week, and it's already shooting up the charts. I think it was number 2 in Singapore on the trending list.
Yeah.
How cool is it to see this show just taking off now?
Yeah, it's crazy. Of course, I'd hope that it would do well, but you never know with these kind of things. And within 2 days, we're number 2 in Singapore against some very tough competitors, and then we went number 7 in Indonesia, and then Brazil, France, Germany, Spain, Thailand, Philippines all went to the trending list. So about to crack into the top 10. It'll probably happen next few days. But after only a few days, we've been informed that basically we have a global hit show on our hands, and that the show has gone viral. And so it's just took us all by surprise, to be honest, because we just didn't have any expectations. Yeah,
and I've seen, especially in Singapore, some of the only 2 shows I think that are ahead are huge hits, like Tinder Swindler or something it's called, and All of Us Are Dead. Is that it? The zombie thing with the school,
right,
the K drum.
exactly.
So considering it's
we were number 2 until the Tinder movie came out. But let's see. Next few days what happens.
That is great. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to watch a few episodes here. It's not in the UK, so I've been a bit sneaky. I've been using my Hong Kong VPN, but when do you think you might be able to get it on Netflix in the UK, in the US?
Yeah, so the US premiere will be later this year. The global premiere was on February 1st, several days ago, to 150 countries. UK was excluded because of Lord Sugar's BBC Apprentice is in conflict, and so BBC owns the rights in the UK. So I think UK probably won't get it for a while, probably until Alan Sugar's Apprentice ends, or I don't know the full thing about it, but Netflix said they couldn't do it. Yeah,
that's a shame. Come on, Alan Sugar, help us out. But Donald Trump's okay with it in the US? Does he own it, or is it just he's the figurehead?
No. It's owned by MGM. Actually, this edition is owned by both MGM and One Championship, 50-50.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, hopefully soon in the US. I know I've got a bunch of friends that are asking about Canada as well. Is that coming soon?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So there's we global premiere 150 countries. I think there's 190 countries around the world, right? So 40 countries didn't get the cut. So. But we are working on that as we speak. So knock on wood that we have some good announcements to make in those 40 countries. Rather than wait for those 40 countries, we said, look, we have critical mass at 150. Let's just go ahead and launch it.
And are you now considering maybe a second season, given it's finally getting the eyes, all the effort deserved and everything like that?
Yeah, no, most definitely. Season 2 is under works. So it's going to be significantly more revenues for us than our first season. And we're super pumped.
And that's just going to go straight to Netflix as well, or what?
Yeah. That's the plan.
All right, keep an eye out for that one, everyone. As I said earlier, though, there is a big show, huge show on Friday night in Singapore. Bad Blood. Here we go. 2 title fights, Chatri. Another huge card. I think 14 fights in all. Is that right?
Yeah, right. So knock on wood, man. Knock on wood that doesn't knock a few of these fun fights out. But yeah, I mean, the main event, Bibiano, Fernandes, and John Lineker, there is real bad blood, and that's why we named it Bad Blood. There's not an act, it's not drama. They have been texting each other, meet me on this street, in Brazil. Let's forget one. Let's fight for real. It's gotten very personal, and yeah, this is like they genuinely hate each other and want to finish each other. So. And they come with, different strengths. It's going to be very fascinating, right? John is obviously a ferocious striker with big chin, fearless. I would say he would take the edge in the striking, even though he's a little bit wild. He has a lot more power and volume. And obviously, Bibi is a multiple-time Jiu-Jitsu world champion. I think if it goes to the ground, I think Bibi, has a chance to finish it. But at the same time, Lineker has a chance to finish it if he clips Bibi's chin. I mean, Bibi is obviously very tough, but man, Lineker, I don't think you get the moniker "Hands of Stone" for no reason, right?
Yeah, I've seen a video going around on your socials or One Championship socials. You could just hear the shots that John was hitting. I think it was Troy Worland with or Kevin Bellion. Just you can hear the pain. So
it's crazy. He has crazy power.
Yeah,
and, right. So somebody can have crazy power, but be very measured and scared to use it. John is one of these guys like wild. It almost reminds me of Tyson in his heydays, in his prime, where the thing about Tyson was so scary was he would throw punches in bunches, but everything had that ill intent, and he was not afraid to throw. A lot of athletes might have the KO power, but are very measured and reserved and wait for the right opportunity to throw it. Then you got crazy guys like Lineker who just go all out. He's not afraid of getting knocked out. He just goes all out. So again, it's definitely going to be a very exciting match. And I think John is going to win by KO or Bibi's going to win by submission.
And Bibi's been there for a while. I consider him personally the GOAT of One Championship. He's almost been there since day one. So many title defenses. This is a pivotal moment, though, in his career, isn't it? I think he's the wrong side of 40. He's been out for over a couple of years. A huge fight for him.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I think the layoff probably helps him because of his age, like you said, meaning that he has had time for the body to fully recover from little injuries and whatnot. And at the same time, he hasn't had to press on the accelerator, with 3-4 fights a year. So I think it's going to end up playing in his favor. And, he's a tried and tested world champion in multiple sports. So his mental game I don't think he's going to have any rust whatsoever when he steps in there. He's not going to have jitters. He's just going to be very clinical as he is as a world champion. I think Lineker is going to have jitters. This is his first go, at a world title shot in one, and the stakes are super high. It's just, and the trash talking, right? I think when trash talking gets to that level and it gets deeply personal and there's genuine hatred and anger and emotion, the one who's able to keep it in check and actually perform, without that emotional negativity will win. And that's, Lineker. I don't know if Lineker is going to be able to do that. He's talked a lot of trash. Bibi said a lot of bad things about John, and there's real bad blood.
And we can't forget there's another title fight, interim heavyweight title, Anatoly Malikin, Kirill Dushenko. Someone's always going to go, as they say, both undefeated.
Right. So this is a very intriguing matchup. Kirill is a Greco-Roman champion, much taller and bigger than Anatoly. But his striking is not as good, in my opinion. But he's very durable and he's very long. Anatoly's more explosive, the more athletic fighter. And again, they're both wrestlers, so I don't see either one going down very easily. And I think the game plan is probably going to stand on their feet for both of them. Kirill doesn't have the KO power, but again, he's much longer, and he's, sometimes, styles make fights, but also body types make sides. Oftentimes styles make fights, but body types also make fights. So when you fight a tall, lanky guy and you're shorter, like Anatoly, to throw a hook, you really got to jump into the pocket and go for it. And the longer guy just has to take a baby step back, and you're out of range, and he's able to pepper you. So, it's one of these very intriguing matchups. Can Anatoly break into Kirill's, guard, yet at the same time, can Kirill, keep Anatoly off of him? I just don't see this fight going to the ground, though, to be honest. They're both world-class wrestlers.
Yeah, and it's obviously come about because of the situation with the heavyweight champion himself, Arjan Bhullar, and you said before you were having trouble negotiating with his management team. Any breakthrough there, with CAA Sports?
Yeah, no, I think, it's been back and forth, but I think we're now at a place where everyone is, happy. And so I think we'll be able to move forward with Arjan's contract renewal.
So it's winner of this is just going to fight Arjan. Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah. That's
you don't anticipate any more delays from him, or?
No. CAA and ONE came to agreement, I think, just a few days ago.
All right, there you go. Big news. When can we expect that fight then, do you think? The summer?
Yeah, probably summer. I mean, it depends on this interim world title fight. It depends on injuries and whatnot. But if it ends up being a quick fight and no one's injured, then I think it could happen pretty quickly.
All right, and a lot of fun returns, I should say, on this bad blood card as well. B. Nguyen is back. We got Jonathan Haggerty back. Yosuke Tsuruta, former strawweight champ. Ken Hasegawa, former challenger against Aung La. Dustin Johnson. So many. Teal Tang as well, Aung La's protege. Who are you most looking forward to seeing on the other fights on this card?
Man, it's one of these cards that if you're a ONE fan, you're just salivating. There's just KO and finishes written all over this card. As you probably know, Nick, our global average of finishes is 70% versus, let's say, a UFC or Bellator. They're about 40%, 38 to 40% in terms of finish rate. This is one of those cards where you're going to see that 70, 80% finish rate just because of the stylistic matchups, but also they're just heavy bangers. I'm very excited for Jonathan Haggerty versus Monkompet. That's going to be an absolute war, and I don't think it's going to go the distance.
All right, and there's also another big card coming up. They're coming thick and fast now, but Full Circle on February 28th, I think, or is it 26th? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, you've just announced the full lineup, 3 title fights, and what essentially might be a title eliminator in Aung La and Big Dash. Just another huge card.
Yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed because Vitaly we've tried to do this fight for the last couple of years, and he's always gotten injured or this, that, the other. And so I'm got my fingers crossed that everything's going to be okay. It's one of these things that, he's just had a string of injuries that has put him out of, commission for a while, but he is healthy. I hope he doesn't get bit by COVID. But Aung La versus Vitaly 3, that's a trilogy that everyone's been waiting for a long time. Obviously, Vitaly won the first one, and the second one, Aung La won. So this one is going to be absolutely electric.
Yeah, do you think the winner does get the next crack at Renier de Ridder? Or, I mean, he's got to defend his belt against Cameron Abasov in the main event. And I asked him, would you face the winner of that fight? He said, well, if it's Big Dash, yeah. If it's Aung La, no. So what does Aung La have to do to get another shot?
I would kind of agree with that. I think he has to go on a few more wins. I mean, he did do a phenomenal job against Ataides. And again, it really depends on the level of fight. If you come in and you just blow people out, it doesn't matter whether it's 2 or 3 fights, you're going to get a title shot because you're coming to blow people out. Now, if you eke by decisions, that makes it more tricky that, okay, has he earned the title shot versus if he just runs through Vitaly. So it'll be very intriguing. Again, the very first time these guys met, I think, was 6-7 years ago. And they just joined the organization, and it was a barn burner of a fight. I don't know if you remember. It was a crazy fight, right? So this is going to be a fun one.
And sticking with middleweights, David Branch has signed with ONE Championship. That one kind of came out of left field, but also very quickly he's been matched up with Leandro on this Full Circle card. What do you envision for David? And how long have you been interested in signing him? And what do you make of the matchup?
This signing is a 1-fight deal with David Branch, and Ali Abdelaziz, his manager, was pounding the table for the last 6 months, like almost every week. And finally, we said, okay, we'll do it. It's not. I think David Branch, is obviously a phenomenal athlete, a world champion, but I think. ONE is not into the business of signing 40-year-olds who might be past their prime. And Ali was kept on pounding the table saying he's not past his prime. He's going to come in and he's going to, showcase phenomenal stuff. And so it's a 1-fight deal. If David doesn't do so well, then the answer will be very apparent. If he does well, then we'll definitely can sit down and talk for real.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seemed you had you don't sign people that age, you know. So it's a kind of a one-off thing.
You know, as you know, Nick, for us, I want to sign the best of the best, irrespective of discipline, martial arts discipline, whether it's jiu-jitsu or submission grappling or Muay Thai, etc., or MMA. And you know, I want folks, you know, superstars who are in their prime or rising stars who have the potential to be global superstars. That's our bread and butter. But again, you know, Ali and I have a good relationship. We're part of the Renzo Gracie family. And you know, Ali just kept on pestering to the point where, okay, bro, let's do one fight.
Okay, and there is obviously
David. David is a phenomenal athlete, a really good human being, a Renzo Gracie black belt. It's just, again, like, you know, for me, I just am not sure if that makes sense to invest in a brand new signing when the athlete is a little bit older, right? It just, now, if the athlete has been with us for a while and it has a great track record, that's different. You know, then there's an expression of loyalty to that athlete for when they want to hang up the gloves. But yeah, so I just say again, like, it was just one of these things that transpired, and you know, Ali kept on pounding the table and said, "Okay, let's do it."
And I suppose the division isn't so strong. You need names in there, so that might have also weighed into your thinking.
It was basically Ali pestering me every week.
All right. Well, there's another huge show, obviously, that is coming up on the horizon. 1X, March 26th, 2 cards in one day, just like Tokyo Century. We've seen a bunch of matches you already announced with Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour. You know, DJ and Rodtang is back, Angela and Stamp, Adriana Moraes, Yuya Wakamatsu. You've announced a couple more. Denise Zamboanga versus Ham. I think Nikki Holtzkin is back against Motazayev.
We announced 6 or 7 fights out of the 24 fights that will be on the card. Yeah, I'll just say both cards are going to blow away One Century, in my opinion. Just in terms of the superstar factor, the sheer magnitude and the stakes of the fights, title fights that we haven't announced yet, but also just the storylines are just, it blows my mind. I'm like, man, you know, someone was looking out after us when we had to delay in December. I don't think the December card would have been as powerful or as crazy or epic as this March 26th card, just because the stars have aligned with all these different amazing fights. And so when you see the cards, Nick, you're gonna, I know there's 3-week quarantine in Hong Kong, but you'll say, screw it, F it. You're gonna fly because you're gonna want to watch it live, you know? That's what I predict, Nick.
I'm hoping I'll be there. Yeah.
He's going to be allowed to come into Singapore. And so, you know, if you're going to do 3 weeks, this is the kind of bout, you know, imagine 24 fights, phenomenal fights that they could all end up being title fights, that kind of magnitude. And it's, you know, for more, I mean, that to me is a once in a lifetime memory. And we wanted to do that way. You know, we wanted to, for our 10th year anniversary, we wanted to, you know, showcase the very best, but we also wanted to make it a memorable, epic, magical memory for our fans, whether they're sitting at home with their family or friends, or whether they're in the stadium, or whether you know, they're watching from around the world. We want people to say, "Do you remember, man, when we were? What was it, man? 5 years ago, that was the craziest, you know, day and night of fights I've ever been to." You know, it's one of those epic moments that we're gunning for.
I'm totally going to do everything I can to be there, and I think they've actually just announced that the quarantine in Hong Kong has been reduced to 2 weeks, so even better. And I have to get back anyway at some point, so I'm hoping, yeah, if I can get to Singapore, watch the show, then go to do my 2 weeks in Hong Kong. But are the media going to be allowed there? And what's the deal with fans? And do they have to have COVID tests, vaccination to get into the arena?
We are pushing the Singapore government for full stadium. It looks like they're going to give it to us. Definitely going to be the biggest show in the last 2 years for sure. We have been given, you know, a large allocation, but we're trying to push for the whole thing. So, but yeah, it's going to be the biggest, for sure. It's going to be the biggest sports and entertainment and music event in Singapore the last 2 years. Like it's going to be the biggest show since, man, I think it was January of 2020, right? Was our last stadium show. So it's going to be bigger than that.
And will fans need vaccination, I guess, to get in, or COVID test?
Yeah, so Singapore requires vaccination to enter the country, and then obviously during fight week, athletes and fans and everyone's be tested, and obviously for fight night as well.
Okay, well, fingers crossed it all goes to plan. Would love to be there. Any other fights you can reveal to us, or tell us when you're going to reveal them?
We decided we're going to do it in drips and drops. That's what we decided. Just because historically what we do is we announce a card, bang, and everyone gets excitement, and it's sort of like, okay, let's test it out. Let's do announce 2 here, 2 there, and build the momentum and build the thing. The 6 or 7 fights we announced, I think only 1 or 2 are main events or co-main, and the other ones are just, I don't want to say filler. They're main card, but they're epic fights. Just when the full card gets shown, you'll see that they're just one of the fights. Only the one that's really intriguing, or the 2 that are truly, truly intriguing in my mind. And that's not to take away from the other fights. It's just DJ and Rotang and Stamp and Angela, right? Those are super intriguing fights for fight fans all over the world. I can't announce anything right now, Nick. I know normally I
you come bearing gifts sometimes.
Yeah, right, exactly. This time I can't. I've been told by my team, shut up, Chatri. Who knows? Maybe I'll send you a WhatsApp message later. Who knows?
All right. Yeah, I have to ask. I have to try every time.
Yes.
Can you confirm if those 2 fights you mentioned there, Stamp and Angela and DJ Rotang, are they the 2 separate main events for the 2 cards?
I can't reveal that yet.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see. Yeah.
And do you know? Are you able to say if certain fights are going to be on the earlier card for the US audience, or is that all still to be determined?
What you'll see, which is a little bit different than our Japan, our 1 century, is that both cards are going to be equally strong for a global audience. That's one thing you'll see. Even though 1 card is geared for Asian pay-per-view, both cards are equally strong in terms of, level of world title fights, or rather, just the number of world title fights, the level of competition, the stakes, the athletes. Yeah, it's going to be an epic, literally the world's greatest night of martial arts, or day and night of martial arts. That's the kind of our vision and our plan. So that, people look back at Pride, and think about the epic moments, and I think we are in a position now, being such a truly global property, to really make an epic statement. But again, it's for the fans. We want fans to then look back at this March 26th 1X as one of the most epic memories they have with their friends and family.
And the shows after this one, you still think they're going to be in Singapore for the time being? And are they going to have fans as well?
No, I can tell you that we are going to have our first event outside of Singapore in Q2. I just haven't announced it yet. I will announce it. The plan is for the second half this year to definitely be back to the touring model that we've had previously. Again, it's just gaining confidence and comfort in the various different restrictions that countries have, right? I mean, every country is different, as you know, in Asia. We're definitely looking at other continents as well.
You should come here. No one cares about COVID anymore. All right. Well, I also just wanted to get an update from you about is there anything with the TV deal in the US? I know it's
so we should be announcing that in the next several weeks, I believe at latest. We're literally in the long form contract stage. We've agreed on all terms. It is a major broadcaster. It's going to, I think, excite US fans. And I will say this much. I can say this much. I think the deal construct and the broadcaster, everything together, in my mind, is 10 times better than the deal that we had at Turner, in terms of being able to offer something on a regular basis to the US fans.
And have you been able to leverage some of these numbers you've been posting on Facebook? Number 1 in 2021 for organic video views among the major sports properties like NFL, F1, all the WWE. Yeah, I suppose that's playing into your strategy for getting a new deal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've always been strong, as you know, in social and digital. It's no secret. I think the real 2 big social and digital players are UFC and one. I mean, everyone else, I think that list that Facebook, that Joyi Biswas, the head of Asia Sports from Facebook sent me. I'm going to go off the top of my head here. We had 8.8 billion organic video views. UFC had 1.6 or 1.35 billion organic video views. Bellator, I think, was at 100, 200 million. And then PFL was at 80 million. So, it's just a different scale of operation, and this is organic video views. I mean, this is from Facebook, head of sports, and the global head of sports also, Peter Hutton, sent me a message congratulating me for being number one in the world for sports. It's just very, very exciting times. I mean, it's our strategy of thinking about how do we scale viewership numbers around the world and being platform agnostic. That's whether it's free to air in Asia, which is obviously still big, digital, social, etc. That's always been the master strategy for one, and so that we can accumulate the biggest fan base possible, the biggest viewership numbers possible. That has been the core strategy of one.
Yeah, is it all about now trying to monetize that digital interest and find the revenue from it? Because
so we will be making some big announcements in the next also a few weeks. I just can't disclose much, but I can just say that we have signed some of the biggest deals in the history of the company by far, and that will, hopefully silence all the naysayers, doubters, and haters, but they'll find something else to hate on. But, I think, it's just part of the package. When you're a global sports property, UFC or Dana has his fair of haters, naysayers and doubters. NBA has its fair share. So it's part and parcel, of the package. If you have a global footprint, it's impossible. I mean, look at Joe Rogan, right? Joe Rogan has a U.S. footprint primarily, yes, and partially global. But, there are so many haters, doubters, and naysayers. It's just part of life.
Yeah. I mean, on a slight tangent, what do you make of Joe Rogan's current situation? Do you have an opinion either way?
I love Joe Rogan. I don't believe he is a racist. He is obviously a phenomenal martial artist, but he is a good person with a good heart. And at the end of the day, everyone is human. Everyone makes mistakes. And the fact that Joe has come out and apologized twice for two different reasons, for two different things in the last, couple of weeks, just shows his intellectual honesty, his humility, and his willingness to learn from mistakes. So I'm a big fan of Joe. I always will be. I love his stuff. I love how he shares incredible stories and people with the world across a variety of subject matters. Yeah, it's just more. Yeah. So I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. I stand with Joe.
Yeah, I remember you were going to go on his show a couple of years ago. I think it was just before the pandemic or what. So maybe that's why it never happened or what.
No, he invited me a few times already, and I just, I'm not going to fly all the way to the U.S. just to do, a podcast. I have to fly for real business reasons. So after we announce our U.S. broadcast deal in the next several weeks, there will be definitely a reason for me to go to the U.S. And so Joe and I will definitely finally get together.
Oh, wow. So that's in the, you've talked to him about coming on again.
Well, I haven't told what date. I haven't said what date I'm going to be on, but I've said, when I'm in the States next, I will definitely ping you well in advance.
Oh, looking forward to that. Definitely. You should announce some of these fights on his show, not mine, because, a bazillion more people will watch that, I think. All right. That's all I got for you, Chatri. Thanks very much.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much, Nick, and have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, I'll hopefully speak to you on Friday. You're going to be doing a press scrum after the fight?
Yes, I will be. Yeah, I'll be.
All right. I'll come and annoy you with some more questions. All right. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.